Hello, everybody. Welcome to MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision. I'm Jim Powers. Glad to have you with us as we visit with our coaches every week. And joining us is the women's basketball coach, Chris Ellis. And Chris, what a great, couple games over the weekend. Quincy, not the outcome you expected, but then to go to Truman, get a victory, and then getting a big victory last night against the crosstown rival UMSL. It's got to make you feel really good about how the kids have bounced back from that three-game losing streak.
Well, the win at Truman was big for that reason, and the win last night was a hard-fought win. UMSL's a good team, very athletic, well-coached team. So just getting those – and all wins are good, all losses are bad, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Talk a little bit about Jordan Martin. Boy, is it good to finally get her back to shooting over the last couple games and knocking down shots. She's been a very big key in the last two wins.
Well, I didn't want to put too much pressure on her, but I told her if she has a good game, we win, and if she doesn't, we don't. So, yeah, it's good. It's good that she's having good games right now.
And the defensive side, especially the last two games, I know you and Coach Cochran were trying to come up with a few answers, but boy, I tell you what, against Truman and against UMSL, you guys came up with the solution real quick, and kids played some great D.
Well, it's all Steve. He's our defensive guy, and I just say okay. And I think we have our players playing a little harder now than they did before. Practices have been a little bit tougher. It's kind of been on me. I've kind of allowed for a country club atmosphere, so to speak. I mean, where it's just great to be here and really like my pretty red uniform, and I think that I've kind of allowed that to happen, and we're going back a little bit more old school in practice and getting back after some really, really tough drilling and correction, and kind of back to square one, way things used to be. And our expectations have been raised, so I think the players have responded well.
How do you think that they've responded, the younger kids especially, through this stretch? 5 games in 10 days, we're over halfway through. A lot of information for them to take in. How do you think that the younger kids have responded?
Well, I mean, not a lot of them are getting a lot of time, but if you're asking me about our sophomores and about Allie and Madeline, Danny Schaefer, the ones that are getting a little bit of playing time, or the lion's share of playing time, as underclassmen, I think they've done well. There's obviously a learning curve, especially on the defensive end. But when the team is successful, there's really not a lot that we can go back and go, well, we wish we would have done that, or wish so and so would have done that. Watching the game film from last night, I wrote down, in the first half, there's probably a dozen defensive mistakes, but they were made by upperclassmen as well as underclassmen. So. We're spreading the mistakes around.
This weekend, a big one with Drury on Thursday night, and they're still the number one team in the West. They're still ranked in the top 25, but when you look at their team, it's not the traditional Drury team in some aspects under their first-year head coach.
Well, I thought that, and then I'm watching the William Jewell game. William Jewell played extremely well in that game, ended up winning, but they're still really good, and they're not in the traditional. I mean, they're not really big, right. But they are really, really good, and it's going to be a really tough game, and we're going to have to play our very best to win, and we'll have to play well again on Saturday, and it's the GLVC, so I miss the old league.
No, you don't.
Well, I miss being able to show up and win.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, the kids have played well over the last couple games, and it's going to be a big one on Thursday. Right now we're in the mix in the West when it comes to positioning, and a win on Thursday night against Drury would put us a game behind them for first.
Well, I mean, there's still such a long way to go, and there's so many variables, anything, without being too cliche, anything can happen, anything might happen, anything will happen. So Kevin said, "Hey, where are you sitting in the division right now?" And I said, "I have no idea." And really, I mean, at the end of February, it matters. Right now, it really doesn't. And every game has got to be played well. We got to grow as a team, and hopefully get in the postseason and do something with that.
And last but not least, Shelby Miller, 14 away from breaking Abby's scoring mark. Knock on wood. I mean, what a great stretch she's had. And I know, if there's anybody that's going to break Abby's scoring mark, it's going to be Shelby with the, great career she's had.
Well, if you saw her block last night.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that today, and I'm sitting at home before you called me, by the way. And I'm watching that block going, there's nothing that she can't do.
Right.
And, a player like Shelby comes along once in your coaching career, and I to be honest, I do not know the first thing that we're going to do without her. And I'm being sincere. I do not know. I'm sure that we'll be fine, but I'm already thinking of how are we going to do X, Y, Z without Shelby, and so just an amazing talent, a once in a lifetime player. I told her the other day at Lewis, how I felt about her, and so she's had a great career, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, my call was, how does a 5'7" guard block a 6'3" center and get away with it without a foul?
Well, first of all, it was clean. Second of all, she's not 5'7".
That's what she's listed as.
Yeah. Well, thank you, program hyperbole, but. Well, she does because she's got a 30-inch vertical. Yeah. I mean, I think probably in every statistical category, any kind of category in basketball you can think of, she's the best player we have. I mean, and nothing against our other kids because they're great, but I'm at a loss because every day she does something that I go, damn.
It shouldn't happen. Well, Chris, good luck on Thursday night and Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Jim.
Chris Ellis joins us as always here as we visit with all our coaches here at Maryville. For Coach Ellis, I'm Jim Powers. Glad that you were able to join us on MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision. Have a great week, and as always, go Saints.